Hello again, Gills fans. Welcome back to Gills in the Blood TV. It is for a Monday review, but it is a day late. I do apologise. But as always, you are aware, it's bank holiday weekend, which means family commitments come first. So it wasn't time to record last night, so I'm doing it now, Tuesday morning. And yeah, we've got not just one, but two games to look at. Plymouth on Good Friday and Bradford on Easter Monday, and another couple of bits to get through. So I will crack on straight away. Good Friday game was massive against Plymouth. We were sat on 48 points at kickoff. They were sat on 47, a couple of places below us. Both teams thinking a win would take them to the magical 50-point barrier or above, and with it, probably safety for another season. And yeah, Argyle arrived in Kent. No win at the Priestfield since 1981. No draw at the Priestfield since 1986, I think, which set alarm bells ringing amongst plenty of the Gills faithful, because we know that we like to end runs like that for other teams. And if you watch this channel with any amount of regularity, you know that me and Boz and Stocky have quite often used the term generous Gillingham over the last few seasons. And for the first 45 minutes, it looked to be that way, didn't it? We said after Shrewsbury we didn't think it could get any worse, but we had a good go first 45. It wasn't pretty, it wasn't fun to watch. It was slow, it was lethargic. I don't think we was helped by Steve Lovell's sudden willingness to change three people that started in the Diamond the week before, because as bad as we were against Shrewsbury, I said on the match day live, and I make no apologies for repeating myself, that first half against the Shrews, I didn't think we were that bad. It wasn't great, but we were in the game at 0-0. The Diamond was working. Billy Bingham had been solid at the base, and he was turning over possession and getting us moving and keeping it simple. And Mark Byrne and Dean Parrott were industrious from the sides. And then obviously we went to three at the back, took Billy Bingham off, and it all fell apart quickly. So I was pleased to see the Diamond back for the visit of Plymouth, but for some reason Mr Lovell decided to move Billy Bingham to the left-hand side, move Mark Byrne to the base and Dean Parrott to the right from the left. And we had Regan Charles Cook at the point as well. And first 45 for me, there was only one in that four that was actually functional, and that was Mark Byrne, and he was having to do the work of too many. Dean Parrott didn't get into the game. Regan Charles Cook, for me, barely had a kick. And Billy Bingham looked like a fish out of water. It looked so alien to him. It's not his game. And surely if we've got a player who's coming back from injury layoff after injury layoff, why put him in a role where he's got to get up and down? Surely not just leave him in his natural position, which is at the base, allow him to turn over possession like he did against Shrewsbury first half and offload to others, because his passing ability is decent enough at this level. But for some reason, Steve Lovell decided to move them all around, and it didn't work. And I think that showed with the goal. Thomas Oley plays a ball into Mark Byrne, 35 yards out. He turns, he's got no options. He then gets caught with a heavy touch by Graham Carey, who releases Freddie Ladapo, and he loves to score a goal against Gills. Took on Max Amar, dummy to go inside, dropped the shoulder onto his left foot and banged one in across Thomas Oley, and that was the score at the break. And we said things had to change, whether that was personnel or whether that was just getting people into the right positions in the Diamond. And I think I said at half-time to Stocky and Boz that I'd have moved them three back to their more natural positions. But as it was, Steve Lovell was a lot braver and a lot bolder, and you have to give him credit for that, because there's plenty on Twitter, and we have as well. We've been not guilty, but we've been known to say that sometimes Steve Lovell's too tentative and too late with his substitutions and his changes. Well, he certainly weren't that on Good Friday, because at the break he whipped off Billy Bingham. But I'll talk about him a little bit later on in the vlog. But the bigger one was obviously taking off Mr Eaves, the top scorer, 20-goal man. Replaced him with Elliot List and Tarvon Campbell, and said to the boys, go out and run at them, play with pace, try and get in behind, work the channels. And he'd have known at the break, Steve Lovell, if it hadn't come off and we'd ended up getting beat 1 or 2-0, he'd have been getting pelters from everyone. And fair play to him, like I say, round of applause, because I've dug him out a few times about his substitutions, and plenty have done it more than I have. But we were really, really good second half, and people would talk about it was only a 25-minute spell. But that 25-minute spell ultimately won us the game. We were quick with it. We had runners in behind. We had people wanted it to feet. We had everyone wanted to show for it. We were clinical in front of goal. We had 4 shots on target. We've scored 3. All right, we've been helped a little bit by some really slack Argyle defending, but that's not our problem at the end of the day. We had to go out and do what we did. And from the off, I said after about 35 seconds of the second half, I think we'd created more in that period and shown more intent than we had in the entire first 45 minutes, and it was great to see. And it was great to see Tarvon Campbell have a positive effect in helping us change the game. He started really bright. I know Stocky saw him at Maidstone in a Kent Cup game, and he said the same. He started really well, took his goal well, and then dropped off a little bit. I spoke to Glenn 80s Hog on Twitter, who said he was really good when he came on for Tom Eaves last 25 minutes at Wickham. But aside from that, we've not seen loads of him. But it seems the 3 times when he has got decent minutes in a Gillingham shirt, he's looked promising, which is good. And yeah, goals from Regan Charles Cook, Mark Byrne, and then Brandon Hanlon, the ever-improving Brandon Hanlon. Sealed a massive win, 3 points, 51 on the board, with it probably safety. So yeah, in the end it turned out to be a really good afternoon. Easter Monday we moved on to Bradford, already relegated Bradford. Plenty of Gills fans suggesting we're going to go out there and batter them and walk all over them, but I think if you've watched football long enough and you know anything about the game, you'd realise that it doesn't quite work like that. You only have to look at Fulham in the Premier League. They've recently been relegated, and since then they've beaten Everton 2-0 and they've beaten Bournemouth, I think, 1-0 away. So without the pressure off, with the shackles released, no pressure of trying to stay in the division, you can go out and you start doing things off the cuff again. And I thought that might be the case with Bradford, playing without fear, but at the same time players that are trying to play for their future and play into the team that Gary Bowyer wants to play with in League 2 next season. And a quick hats off to Bradford, who've sold 13,000 season tickets already despite being relegated. Absolutely phenomenal effort from their fans, and fair play to them. I hope they have a good season next season, because they're a massive club in the EFL. And some shocking mismanagement unfortunately has left them in this position, but I'm sure they'll come back stronger. I think in Gary Bowyer they've got the right man to bring them up pretty quickly again. But yeah, back to the game. Like I say, I didn't think it was going to be a walk in the park. I was hopeful that we could pinch it, but such is the levels of their confidence. But it wasn't to be. Seems that first half we created plenty of chances, but were pretty wasteful in front of goal. I know Tarvon Campbell, Brandon Hanlon were mentioned on social media as having half-decent chances, but couldn't take them. And according to Sky Sports app, the only shot on target would have been the equaliser, which was Brandon Hanlon bundling it in after the keeper had dropped Bradley Garmston's cross. Not a foul for me. I'm sure Bradford fans will see it differently. It's one of them. If it's against you, you think it's a foul, and if it's you're supporting the attacking team, then you say, no, the keeper's dropped it and he's been too soft and keepers get too much protection. But seems a draw was probably about a fair result based on the statistics that I've looked at. We was unlucky towards the end, could have pinched the win. Regan Charles Cook, really good effort, left footed, crashed off the underside of the bar and out. And the anomaly for me was the statistics that said that we'd only had one shot on target, but I'm pretty sure Tarvon Campbell had a shot on target second half when he got released in the inside left channel and had a left footed shot that the keeper and the defender sort of smothered between them, and it went out for a corner. So not sure that was entirely correct, but it's a small misdemeanour, if one at all. As I say, Regan Charles Cook really unlucky. He's been at the forefront of our good attacking play over the last 2 games, which is good. See a lot of negativity on Twitter yesterday, which I don't buy into. Maybe I'm too easily pleased, or maybe I've just been around the block too many times. I don't know. But I've always been brought up on the adage that if you win your own games and you pinch points away, then you do all right. And over Easter, you can't ask for any more. We've won 3-1 at home on Good Friday, and we've drawn the away game on the Monday, which is 4 points. Now sits us on 52. I think if Wimbledon lose at Luton tonight, Tuesday evening, then mathematically 110% safe. But it will take a catastrophic turn of events from here to see us get relegated in terms of points. I don't think a team's gone down with this many for a very long time. And it would be one hell of a sequence of events to see us get relegated, because there's still teams that are below us that have got to play each other. Most notably, I think Scunthorpe played Plymouth on the final day. So even if we were to lose our last 2, we'd have to lose heavily. I think Accrington would have to win 2 of their last 3. Plymouth would have to win at least 1 of theirs, and I don't know, it gets really complicated. I know someone worked it out on our Facebook page yesterday, a way that we could get relegated, but it's ridiculously long odds for it to happen. And I know this is Gillingham, and and we think back to Wickham a few years ago, but I think we're safe. I think we're absolutely fine. And I think, and I'll talk about it in more depth on Thursday with Boz, I think we might get something at home to Charlton, because there's a chance they're going to rest a few now because they're in the playoffs. They're not going to go up automatically, I don't think so. But that's for another day. But yeah, for me, I think it's been an excellent Easter weekend. If someone had said to me Friday morning, you're going to take 4 points over the 2 games and get yourself up to 52 in total, I'd have gone, thank you very much, I'll take that now. There's no easy games in professional football. You see games 1, 4 and 5-0 from time to time, but there's no easy games as a rule. And people have thought we were going to walk up there and just batter Bradford. It wasn't going to happen. In terms of individual players, it was great to see Tyvon Campbell get more minutes, like I've already said. From what I've seen of him, which is not a lot, granted, I'd be inclined to have a look at him for next season. I'm not sure what his contract situation is at Forest Green. It may be up in the summer, but it'd be one I'd take a look at. Need to talk about Billy Bingham though. Played 45 minutes against Shrewsbury. We decided that was enough, couldn't do any more. Take it off as a massive precaution. Cost us the game ultimately. That's not Billy's fault. And then he's only played 45 minutes of the 2 games over Easter, which again is massively concerning for me, regardless of whether what you think of the situation. He's come back from injury, he's been training for a month, and he can only play 45, 90 minutes from a possible 270 over 10 days. We'll have to see with that one. Obviously, he's out of contract, and we'll get onto that at the end. But for me, it's a massive concern, and it's a real shame because he looks to be a decent player. It just seems that we're jinxed when it comes to having half-decent anchor midfielders at the moment. If you look at the 2 that we've had that are probably the closest to that type of player that we really need. I'm not talking about your deep line playmakers like we had as Josh Wright or Darren Oldacre. I'm talking, or Dean Parrott this season, or anyone else has gone in there. I'm talking about proper sort of people who just break up play and give it simple. I'm talking your Aaron Morrises and your Billy Binghams over the last few seasons, and both have been hit with horrendous injury problems, which is really sad. And a little moan at the end for what's been a decent, positive vlog is the criticism of Tom Eaves that I've seen on particularly our Facebook page by one person. I find it staggering, to be quite honest. And yeah, I'm talking about you, Andy Newman. I'm not going to pretend, and I've said it to you on Facebook, I massively disagree with what you're saying on there, and I didn't feel the need to, I didn't get you why you felt the need to post on Facebook page yesterday about, oh, Tom Eaves comes on and makes 3 or 4 fouls, and a sort of exasperated eyes face. Why not just concentrate on the positive weekend we've had? Why not concentrate on the players that have contributed to us picking up 4 points? Why not concentrate on the players that have performed well? The Brandon Anlans, the Regan Charles Cooks, the Tyvon Campbells, the Elliot List. I don't get this need to be needlessly, for me, digging out a player who scored 38 goals for us over 2 seasons, and if it wasn't for him, we'd have been relegated long ago, not just this season, last season as well. And you can come back and say, well, yeah, but his head's gone and he's only scored this in the last few months. You have to look at it as a whole season. He scored 18 last season in all competitions. He scored 20 in all competitions this season. The bloke, if he's had a lean spell, then fair enough. That happens. It's League One at the end of the day. That's why all these players are in League One. If they were putting in 9 and 10 out of 10 performances every single week, they wouldn't be playing for Gillingham Football Club and they wouldn't be playing in this division. I think it's nonsensical, to be quite fair, constantly just berating someone who's been that good for us for 2 years. I've said it once and I'll say it again. If he leaves in the summer and decides to go on elsewhere, then good luck to him, because he's earned that right, because he's come into us and he's been very, very good. His attitude's been spot on, his work rate's been first class, and his goal return's been absolutely brilliant. So, a little gripe, don't understand it. It's odd. It really is. The down in tools thing I've spoken about once before, absolutely ridiculous. Not once has he down tools. Yes, he gets frustrated with officials. Yes, he gets frustrated with having his hair pulled and his shirt pulled. And have we ever thought that's probably because he don't get any decisions? And then the first time he shows any physicality, he gets penalised. So it could. Is that a simple answer, or is that too sensible? Is that I'm not sure. Could it just be that, rather than Tom Eaves has given up and he's got his head elsewhere? I think it's the first one, but I mean, we all have our opinions, and I appreciate that. But I think some of the stuff I've seen written about Tom Eaves over the last few weeks has been absolutely incredulous. And it does make me angry, I won't lie. Anyway, a small gripe, small moan in what's been another positive vlog, a positive weekend. Safety, 99.99999% assured for me. looking forward to Charlton at home on Saturday, hopefully in the sunshine. Be a big crowd. I know they've sold out their allocation, so they're bringing pretty much 2,500 down to fill up the Brian Moore stand. Attendance was up on Friday, which was good, 5,900, 800 away fans, which means there was over 5,000 Gills fans in there. Positive news regarding the season tickets. I think the early indications are that it's going very well. We'll be renewing mine shortly. Right, if you can keep an eye on the Twitter feed today, there will be out of contract players to look at and vote for. Those that are running out of deals in the summer, I'll be asking whether you would release, keep, and if keep, for how long. What would you offer him in terms of a contract if you was playing Mr. Manager? Not talking about whether Tom Eaves is likely to leave or Thomas Holy's likely to leave. Just if you were the manager and you had the choice, would you release them or keep them? So yeah, keep an eye out for that and get involved. Let us know why you would keep which player, why you would release which player. Thanks for listening to me rabbit on again. As always, it's support's greatly appreciated. Get involved on YouTube, comment down below in the box, comment on the Facebook page, reply on Twitter to myself, Boz, Stocky. We all have a chat about football, you know that. Follow us on Instagram, as I always say. And until next time, up the Gills.